What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we've learned about a new deleted scene or a deleted idea for Deadpool and Wolverine. It was actually both. They went back and they did reshoots to specifically change a very particular plot point about Deadpool and Wolverine. And while it ultimately didn't change the story too much, it did change a lot with Cassandra Nova, her motivation behind being evil and why she was in the void, and it definitely has changed some major implications moving forward in the MCU. In fact, I think I know why they did the reshoots to change these particular things, because now it definitely ties more into the overall multiverse saga and could even set up Secret Wars in a really big way. And let's not forget, when Deadpool and Wolverine first end up in the void and we see Deadpool lying on the ground, there is a Secret Wars comic cover right next to Deadpool on his left side, and we saw that in the trailer as well. This change was really to how Cassandra Nova ended up in the void, and if they didn't change this with reshoots, it's very possible we could have seen Patrick Stewart. He was mentioned a lot as it was in Deadpool and Wolverine, but this puts an even bigger focus on him, especially to Cassandra Nova. According to the very reliable insider, I'm not sure if they've got anything wrong yet, Cryptic 4K quality or Cryptic HD quality, originally Cassandra Nova didn't actually know who sent her to the void, and she had no deal with the TVA made. According to the insider, originally Cassandra thought that her brother, Charles Xavier, was the one who put her in the void. When she confronts Paradox, she finds out it was actually the TVA. Reshoots changed this. Now, there is another Deadpool and Wolverine rumor that we're going to talk about in this video, but first, let's talk about how this changes the future of the MCU and how it changed Deadpool and Wolverine, specifically with Cassandra Nova. Now, this whole entire time in Deadpool and Wolverine, you could hear her say many things about how the TVA sent her to the void. She says a very specific line about how the TVA sent her there before she could even walk. Wolverine says something along the lines of, "You're that dangerous," or "You're that terrifying," and she says, "Well, the TVA certainly thought so. They sent me here before I could even walk." Now, she briefly goes over the backstory between her and her brother, Charles Xavier's, about how they shared a womb and how she tried to kill him, and that is basically what happens in the comics. And Professor X ends up defeating her in the womb. She was thought to be dead, but she ends up surviving, and then basically always seeks revenge against Professor X. And she was even responsible for the Sentinel attack on Genosha in the comics. So just like we saw in X-Men 97, that attack on Genosha, that was actually by Cassandra Nova in the comics, and she killed millions, like literally millions of mutants. And as far as how menacing she was in Deadpool and Wolverine goes, she was really menacing. It seems like she kills just without even thinking about it most of the time. She even said that she wore Doctor Strange's skin around for days. Pretty messed up, but here's how this really changes things. At the end of it all, it changed kind of her motivation and revenge. Since she had a deal with the TVA, since she knew the TVA sent her there, and basically their agreement was, hey, you send me your garbage, I'll clean it up, but you leave me alone. I'll rule the void, you rule the multiverse, whatever you want to do over there, and we're both happy. I get to do whatever I want in the void. I get my own army. I do what I want. I'm perfectly free to be this evil person. No restraints, nothing. And in return, she kills whoever ends up in the void for the TVA. Now, I'm curious as to where she was in Loki, but again, time works very differently in the TVA, so we won't think about that too hard. Perhaps she was out there somewhere in the background. But here is why I think they specifically changed this. If her motivation was hatred towards her brother, then the ending scene where they're inside of Ant-Man's skeleton and Wolverine says that he is basically saving her for Charles, that wouldn't have happened. Now, it seems like clearly that was one of the reshoots. And then on top of that, when Pyro comes in and he reveals to her that Paradox made a deal with him to get rid of her, she now knows that he broke their deal. Paradox broke their deal, which in turn leads her to leaving the void, something that she had never done before. And she does this because she was betrayed, because she knew the TVA put her there, but they had a deal. So that basically makes her very pissed off with Paradox, and that makes her go inside of his head, in which then she finds out about the Time Ripper. And since she is so pissed off, she decides that she's going to go and delete every single universe in the entire multiverse until everything is gone, nothing is left, but the Void. And if you've heard a couple of my videos about this, I believe that that is probably going to be Battleworld. In fact, everything that Cassandra Nova mentioned, I believe is going to happen, except I don't believe it's going to be caused by a single person, and if it is, it will be caused by Doom. So I basically think that either the multiverse is going to start to suffer from incursions until every single universe gets destroyed due to incursions, or Doctor Doom is going to cause the destruction of the multiverse himself, trying to take over the entire thing and possibly fighting and killing Loki. I don't think Loki is actually going to die because I think he's going to be a major player in both Doomsday and Secret Wars, but I think he's somehow going to get him to let go of the entire multiverse, and him finding him and fighting him would do that. But ultimately, I do believe once everything is destroyed, we are basically left with the Void, which is essentially an MCU version of Battleworld, the remnants of all of the different universes throughout the entire multiverse. And I actually think that Marvel Studios might have made these reshoots specifically for that, because although Cassandra Nova is now gone, she did tell us a possibility of what can happen. The TVA can be destroyed, all of the universes can be destroyed, and at the end of it all, the Void is the only thing that's left. That's a pretty big setup for Battleworld, if you ask me. Now, the other way would have still been really cool, and you could have still kind of made it work. Once she found out the TVA is the one who actually sent her there, she could have been super pissed off and went up against them. And of course, I don't know what the old script was, but in this, she did talk a lot about Charles and how she didn't really like him, but she also talked about how she didn't really know him. Ultimately, I don't think it would have been a better or worse outcome for the specific movie, Deadpool and Wolverine. However, I do believe with these reshoots and the changes they did, it does set up Secret Wars in a bigger way. So I'm okay with the reshoots. If we could have seen Charles, perhaps the other way might have been more exciting, another cameo to throw in there, but I do hope and believe that he's going to come back in Secret Wars. But go ahead and let me know your thoughts about these changes in the comments down below. And like I said, we do have a rumor, and I specify this is simply a rumor at this point in time, that a Deadpool character could be coming back. This is coming from the insider My Time to Shine Hello, so take this with a grain of salt. She was right about some things with Deadpool and Wolverine, but also wrong about a lot as well. But the recent rumor coming from her is that a Hydra project is in the works at Marvel Studios with Hydra Bob, a longtime supporting character to Deadpool. He is apparently going to be a big part of this project. Now, in the comics, unlike a typical Hydra agent, Bob is kind of reluctant. He's often portrayed as a coward, and that is because he was forcibly recruited into Hydra, but has since become sort of Wade Wilson's sidekick. Now, I don't think it's a bad thing if we revisit Hydra. In fact, I think there are many ways that Hydra can come back. I think they've probably still been around this entire time in the shadows. I don't think they ever really dead. It's the typical you cut one head off, two more grow, and we clearly are going to be dealing with more Captain America projects. Plus, not to mention, the MCU is supposed to do a soft reboot after the multiverse saga ends, after Secret Wars, so we could possibly get a new Captain America, Steve Rogers Captain America, and we could go down a road that we've kind of been before, and we can do new stories that involve some of the same elements that we have seen in the MCU so far, like Hydra. The only thing is, I'm not so sure why they would make this character a prominent part of this project. And another thing would be, is he ever actually going to meet Deadpool in the MCU? Now, we have heard some rumors that Deadpool and Wolverine, specifically Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds, are going to stick around after the multiverse saga is over. So not only will they appear in Doomsday and Secret Wars, but they're going to stick around and do some more films of Deadpool and Wolverine even after the multiverse saga is over. So when Deadpool said they're going to make him do it till he's 90, sounds like he might have been telling the truth there. And perhaps that was some big foreshadowing there as well, till you're 90. But the movies make money. I mean, it's the biggest rated R movie of all time now. I'm sure people would love to see another buddy team up movie with the two of them down the road. Everyone is fully expecting to see them again in Avengers Doomsday and or Secret Wars, but we are talking about another movie where it's just the two of them buddying up again. And this can work because Deadpool, since he can break the fourth wall, has the ability to survive anything essentially and save his buddy Wolverine as well. And And perhaps if there is a Hydra project, perhaps Hydra Bob could somehow find Deadpool. Who knows? But go ahead and let me know your thoughts about this Hydra project with Hydra Bob, and of course about the changes they made with the reshoots to Deadpool and Wolverine. Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on a single MCU news vid. You can also find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.